we have some new documents that have been released because of Freedom of Information Act requests that the courts have approved from the CIA, and they involve the effectiveness of our torture campaign against some of our top value detainees, including Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, admitted mastermind behind 9/11. He says in these transcripts, quote, "I make up stories. What is he? I don't know. Then he tortured me," referring to bin Laden and then presumably the CIA agents or the interrogators. And he says, "Then I said, he is in this area." And they go and I make it up. So basically he's saying, yeah, they tortured me, so I had to say something. But of course I was going to tell them the truth. So I made up a whole bunch of areas and they went and wasted their time on it. Now look, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is not the most reliable source in the world, to say the least. So could he be lying when he told the interrogators that he made up stuff? Of course he could be lying. But here's fairly indisputable proof that he made stuff up. We never found bin Laden. You see, now Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was the mastermind behind 9/11. We all think so. He says so, and all the evidence seems to point that way. And the guy who paid for it and organized it even above his level is Osama bin Laden, right? So obviously they had to have some way of communicating with one another. Even if they didn't know where one or the other was, they certainly had a way of reaching one another, right? I mean, that's indisputable because bin Laden's giving the money and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is planning it. So Matthew Alexander, the author of How to Break a Terrorist, makes a terrific point. He says, well, if waterboarding is so good and torture is so effective, how come we waterboarded Khalid Sheikh Mohammed 183 times and never found out where bin Laden was? That point is slightly devastating to the right wing, because waterboarding didn't work, and we tortured the living crap out of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and it didn't work. We never found bin Laden. Because, as he says, I make stuff up. They ask me, I want pain stop. I say, he's here. I lie. Ha ha ha. And that drives me crazy. When in fact, of course, Matthew Alexander is a guy who broke one of the most radical clerics in Iraq, who gave us the location to Zarqawi, the top, terrorist in Iraq at the time. And how did he do it? With no torture at all. With old interrogation tactics of building trust and then having that person turn. And the other guy that we turned was Abu Zubaydah in the beginning, before we started torturing him. Who was the guy who did that? Ali Soufan, FBI agent. Again, build trust, take care of his wounds. And then apparently in the new documents we also find out that after Ali Soufan stepped aside, the interrogators decided to go the tough route with Zubaydah. And they did not take care of his wounds because he was injured while being captured, and apparently he lost a gonad. Now you'd say, hey, you know what? Them's the breaks. Now I don't want them going after his gonads after we capture him, but in the middle of the capture you get injured that way. Hey, that's the way life rolls. Sad day for you. You shouldn't have been in Al-Qaeda. But here comes an interesting twist. It turns out Zubaydah wasn't really in Al-Qaeda. Now it doesn't mean he's innocent. He was what they call a fixer. And he would get things in Pakistan and he would say, all right, recruits, you go this way, and the other recruits coming back, I'll get you some material. So he's not innocent by any stretch of the imagination. But originally, Bush had described him as the number 3 man in Al-Qaeda. And now we find out through these transcripts again that even his own interrogators apparently came to Zubaydah and said, this is a quote from Zubaydah, quote, they told me, sorry, we discovered that you are not number 3, not a partner, not even a fighter. And it's true. He was not a partner of Al-Qaeda officially like that. He was not even officially a member of Al-Qaeda, as best as we can now determine, now that we have the real information on him. Now, again, it's what you call a part of Al-Qaeda and what you don't is an open question there. But was he number 3? Hell no, not even close. So we torture the guy and we basically let him lose a gonad, among other things, and then we go, oh, our bad, it turns out you weren't as important as we thought, and you didn't have any relevant information, and if you did, you certainly didn't give it to us through torture. So, yet another case of torture not working. One last one, there was a man named Majid Khan. He was also an accused Al-Qaeda member. They've still redacted 7.5 pages of his transcripts. God knows what's in there. But he says, in the end, any classified information you have for me was derived from physically and mentally torturing me. And so he says, what can you use it for, really? Anyway, because as they all say themselves, it's unreliable. Why? Because when you torture me, of course I'm going to lie to you.